nuwe individu wat langs my sit, maar ons verwelkom graag vir Rani Chetty en Shanoli Chetty van Tymeless Necessity Hair, wat vanoggend by ons kuier om oor die proses van hare wat geskenk word, byvoorbeeld by 'n Shavathon, tot die pruik as eindproduk te gesels. So good morning and thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having us here.
Now, we'll get to the different individuals sitting next to me a little bit later, but I would just like to focus on some background regarding Tymeless Necessity Hair.
Okay, Tymeless Necessity Hair was actually formed in 2018. You know, I actually went to India on a pilgrimage. And whilst being in India, I went to this one temple in Tirupati, okay, which is a southern state in India. And it amazed me to see how many people actually tonsured their hair. And looking at all these people without hair, you know, made me want, you know, I actually delved more into why they did it. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to know what happens to this hair. You know, beautiful Indian hair that was just given away. And the curiosity, I think, started from that very first trip. It was like 10 years ago. Mm. And when I got back home, back to South Africa, my aunt was diagnosed with cancer, and she had the most beautiful long hair, thick, long hair. And I was going back to India. You know, India is a place, when you are there, you want to come back home. But when you come back to South Africa, it has a calling. There's a calling for you. So I went back, and my aunt very discreetly asked me, she said, if you go back, can you look for a good Indian hair wig for me? So, you know, she didn't know that I had this fascination about hair after seeing all this tonsured hair. So I went back and I started looking for this wig for her. And it was very hard because I wanted a specific type of wig for her because she had this special look about herself. I mean, her hair spoke about who she was. Her hair defined her. And, you know, I bought this wig and she didn't want me to tell anyone that I had bought her this wig. And when I gave it to her, I could see the sadness in her face. You know, she had no confidence. She was literally hiding away from people because she started losing her hair due to chemotherapy. And, you know, that saddened me quite a bit. And another friend of mine, a few years later, was diagnosed with cancer. The same thing, I experienced the same thing with her, where she was actually hiding away from people because she was wearing one of the compassionate hats and she refused to join anyone. And she called me into the room, and when I went to see her, she removed the cap. And I think we both burst out crying when I saw her. And I said to her, you know what, you should not feel ashamed. Just come downstairs and mingle with anyone. And she said, I cannot let anybody see me like this. I feel too ashamed. So, you know, that had inspired me to go back to India and study hair and how wigs are made. And it took us 7 years' journey of studying. You know, India is a funny place. You learn hair, but you don't learn the finer intricacies. And I think this whole, from the time of the formation of Tymeless, I think every day is a new learning day as well. You know, we keep upskilling ourselves. New things come in the market. We continue. The pandemic has had a huge impact on all of us. So we constantly upskilling. But the basics of wig making and hand knotting and customization, that's what we wanted to actually focus on.
Yes. I'm going to stop you there because that's what happened. I mean, you Googled me yesterday and see I was a bit of grey here. And you phoned the factory and say, listen, mate, take a black wig and just put some grey in it. So it's really personalised. But, Shanoli, I want to find out. I mean, that's the thing. It's a very emotional thing. And for you personally, to see people getting confidence back with proper wigs.
Yeah. I mean, it's something that's rewarding on our side. Initially, there is an emotional build-up. No one's ready to let go of their hair. It is their personality. It's the small attributes that you look at. When you see a person, the first thing that you see is their hair. And that's why a lot of women especially, as well as men, when they are diagnosed with cancer, the first thing they think of is, oh, my hair is going to fall off. And there's also that underlying base of people assume that hair loss is associated with an illness or a disease. And it's not necessarily like that. I think that's where we also come in with a loud voice and say, you don't have to be sick to have hair loss. You know? And then when it comes to the emotional attachments, I think it's more rewarding to know that we're helping people and that we can bring that smile back, allow them to go out and, you know, want to play with the hair, feel it in the wind again. And, you know, just build up their confidence. And if they know at the end of it, they're going to be okay.
So there's some feedback. It's going to be in Afrikaans, maar Rolien Strauss was ons vorige gas en sy luister toe sê Sonja Meiberg sê sy luister nou die kritiek wat Rolien gekry het en sy is nou in 'n remissie van kanker wat sy gehad het en sy het al haar hare verloor en sy het baie vuil kykie in die publiek en so. Dis 'n bitter pil om te sluk, maar nou geleer om dit te aanvaar oor dat mense nie weet waardeur ek is nie. And it's a very emotional thing. Yeah. But take me through the process because this is like really.
Yes.
Like, and it's just like, I mean, and show us some, you can maybe just show us some of the weeks that you have, and we're going to try an interesting one for men that just goes bold. Going to try and, gaan jy my help om 'n ander enetjie aan te probeer ook, maar net nou.
Tans like jy baie naby aan Shah Rukh Khan.
Ernstig?
I have to say. It's a close call. Not quite, but a close call.
Don't have the money yet, but
I'm very curious to see the other one as well. But just take us through the steps. I mean,
from where you get there.
Yes.
Yeah. Look, when we got back to, I mean, our very last trip in India was quite an emotional one. And I think that was the very defining moment for us, that we should come back and, you know, focus our energy in giving back. Okay? And while we were there, we were quite amazed. You know, Indians are noted to have this thick, long hair. And while we were in India, there were so many people that were actually buying hair for either the mums or the sisters or somebody that was undergoing cancer treatment. And, you know, that was our defining moment. And I said to Shanoli, you know what, we're going to go back to South Africa and I'm going to do this. We're going to do this and help people. And I came back, I found Cancer South Africa. We are their proud wig makers, you know. I found Cancer and I said, look, I would like to make your wigs. And can we help? And I had a meeting with you know, Miss Lucinda Carter from Cancer, and you know, she gave me this box of hair full of ponytails, the most beautiful ponytails, and she said to me, "Can you make us wigs?" So from 2018, we have been supplying Cancer with wigs. So in exchange for the ponytails that they collect from the Shavathons, we actually make them wigs. Okay, and the one thing that we stand out with is if a person has been diagnosed with cancer and before they could start their chemo, okay, we actually encourage them, and if they know how aggressive that chemo treatment is going to be, that they take out their own hair and we mimic their look and we make a wig using their own hair.
Show us some of those. That's the ponytail. So people can really just donate. Ek is 'n volunteer bald het. Hoe noem jy dit? 'n Deliberate bald het. Ek het hare, ek skeer dit met 'n skeermes af. Mense dink my hare het uitgeval en ons gaan net nou vir die ouens wat nou sensitief is oor hulle.
So people can
So that's someone you've got long hair, sometimes you want to cut it off, you cut it and you donate it.
And you donate it. And this is how the bundles come through to Cancer.
Okay.
Okay, it actually goes through various cleaning processes.
Yes.
But this is called a raw bundle.
Okay.
Okay, it goes through hackling, wefting, so there's certain processes involved before it actually starts getting made into a wig.
That's just amazing. So tell me about the other one, and that's very interesting, but I think you can fit one onto our model.
So they've told me about that one.
Yeah, and I was amazed.
Yeah, so basies, I'm just going to do this part now in Afrikaans.
You can maybe
viewers.
fit a week onto the doll as well. So we
Wil
can
jy
see
hierdie
the
een so lank
change.
aansit? Moet ek hom vir jou
Wil
aansit?
jy verduidelik wat daarin doen?
Ja, so
Dis is jy nou
basies, hierdie is ongelooflik. Jy sit dit op die kop en dan kan jy dit vir 6 tot 8 weke kan jy dit dra. So met
Dit
ander
word
woorde,
opgeplak?
dit word opgeplak, jy stoor daarmee, jy gaan slaap daarmee, jy gaan aan. Enige iets 6 tot 8 weke. Na daai 8 weke of 6 tot 8 weke verby is, haal jy dit af. En ek dink jy gebruik dan nou so 'n bietjie alkohol of so tipe middel om dit af te haal en mooi skoon, dan maak jy jou kop mooi skoon en dan sit jy dit weer terug
En
dit
dis
is
vir ouens wat nou 'n bald head het, maar jy hier dan pas hierdie hare nou by die wat jy nog oor het.
ja.
Dis ongelooflik. Kyk, hy
Gaan
lyk
jy
so.
homself
Ek gaan probeer. Nou gaan plak ons hom. Kyk dit met kyfie. Voel bietjie
Is
soos
dis-
Leon Schuster.
Is this correct?
Is dit korrek by? So hy's nog nie geplak nie. Miskien moet ons hom plak vir 7 weke. Nee, dan kan ek ook so 'n bietjie anoniem in die mall rondloop. Hè? Hi, daar's Rolien terug. Sien jy, Rolien Straat, she's back. And just amazing. I mean, just take that doll and it looks so natural.
Yeah.
It's just so but one thing,
And in fact, I've got to mention, this is Shanoli's hair, my
Serious?
hair, and a few of my nieces. So we put all this hair together, and we actually grow our hair, cut it up, make a wig for cancer.
Sure.
That is just amazing. And
remarkable.
just one quick thing. I've heard that like a medical aid doesn't cover it. And at the end of the day, it's an expensive thing, and it's not everyone can afford it. And for me, it's like a fight to be afford sometimes.
Yes.
You know,
We've had challenges with medical aid. I've called the Medical Association. We've tried to follow this up for our patients, with the chemo treatment. And even if it's alopecia, the hair loss treatment is extremely high. And, it's not vanity. Having a wig, it's not about being, it's not vanity. It's about your dignity, it's about your self-esteem, it's about your confidence. A lot of people shy away, and it's, which leads to depression, anxiety. So there's more after effects, psychological after effects that doctors have to deal with than if they just, could grant, if medical aids could just grant, the price of a wig, which will actually solve half the problems.
how can people get involved?
Yes.
How can they contact you? What's the easiest way?
So we have our social media platforms, so our Instagram page, Tymeless Necessity Hair, as well as our Facebook page. So we have most of our interactions through our social media. And then as well, as we are affiliated with Cancer, we are on their website as well as the official wig makers. The entire wig making process, everything is all online on the Cancer website as well.
And it's timeless, but not with an I. So
That's
so T-Y, timeless. Oh, fantastic. Thank you so much, ladies. I think also wat wil jy aan probeer? Nee, volgende keer.
Yes, but just the simple request from my side. When you go back to India, please take me with.
Yeah. She's the biggest Bollywood fan and India fan that I know. That's the only movie she watches. She watches the movies. She knows all the music. Yeah, seriously, it's amazing. It's really surprising.
Yeah, we'll do a Bhangra show one day.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And a challenge, grow your hair and then donate. Because
I'll do
if I ever leave the show, I want a bit of Elsa's hair. I'm going to wear it. Is that all right?
Okay.
So sentimenteel.
It's going to be my gift. Nee, maar dit is daarmee dan vanoggend se gesprek. So thank you so much for joining us. En dit was dan Rani Chetty en ook Shanoli Chetty van Tymeless Necessity hier. Jy kan ingeskakel bly net hierna
Vir
die
jou minuut.
laaste happie van die groot ontbyt.
Kom ons gaan groei.